You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI support.
Wonder that why some people get their US green cards in under a year, while others, especially from India, wait for years, sometimes even a decade or a more. Also, 2025 green card interviews are tougher and wait times are longer. So, if you have filed AOS, that is adjustment of status, then what part of the process feels like the biggest mystery to you? And most importantly, with President Donald Trump and his administration back in charge, is the process starting to feel even more unpredictable? Well, these are the questions that I would love to know your answer. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. You're watching Daily Immigration News, streaming live at 5:30 p.m. EDT. It's me, your host Sam, and with my co-host Nipasa is also here. So, hi Nipasa, how are you doing today?
Hi everyone. Hi Sam. Lovely being here and excited about today's discussion as well. So, looking forward and I'm doing good. I hope you are as well.
Absolutely. And it has been a very productive day. We had a very important and a very insightful discussion with attorney Nandini Nair. And friends, I hope you have joined there. And before moving ahead, I think it is very important for our viewers to, read out, let them understand about this disclaimer. By watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not a professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. And with that, friends, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, and also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. And Napasa, if you can also let our viewers know how they can join us and be a part of this amazing conversation.
For sure, Sam. And folks out there, we are live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. So check us out and join us there as well. Or better even, comment wherever you're watching. If you have any questions, you want to say anything, especially with regard to today's topic of discussion, please let us know. What do you feel? What do you think? And yes, you can also dial in this number, which you can see on the screen, be a part of this conversation by calling us, and you can be live with us actually. So the number is 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. So join us. And as you can see on the screen already, we are going to be speaking about Indian in the US applying for a green card. So get ready for your adjustment and interview. Yes, if you are an Indian living in the United States and dreaming of permanent residency, or what we commonly call a green card, today's discussion is especially for you. So whether you're here on a student visa, H-1B, or you recently got married to a US citizen, the process of applying for a green card through adjustment of status can feel long, can feel confusing at times, and even very stressful. So, this is where you should be, and let's get into this conversation today.
Absolutely. And with that, friends, I'll just say that stay connected with us, stay tuned. And if you have any other query or any information, because it's just a casual exchange of ideas, so feel free to put them on the comment section or directly dial up the number and join us on this conversation. And with that, I think Nipasa, let's go ahead with our news update that I have. So, firstly, it is about unusual incident during deportation flight. Detainee reportedly harms himself mid-air. And this is a very shocking news, and let's see what impact it is creating. So, strange and troubling incident has surfaced during a deportation flight in the United States. According to Homeland Secretary Christy Noem, an individual being deported allegedly being harming himself while on board the flight, prompting federal marshals to remove him and seek immediate and medical attention. So the case was described during Secretary Noem's recent visit to a new immigration detention facility in Florida, where she met with law enforcement officials. And talking about detention center, then it is nicknamed as Alligator Alcatraz, is located in a remote swampy area west of Miami and is also part of the broader immigration enforcement strategy. As the Biden to Trump transition has seen a sharp rise in immigration detention, with current numbers nearing around 56,000 people in federal custody right now. So, authorities are continuing to monitor and assess such incidents closely to ensure safety and human handling throughout the deportation process. So, this is a quite shocking news from my side, and Napasa, please go ahead with your very important.
Sure, Sam. And the news update I wanted to share with you folks is, 20 states they sue President Trump's administration over Medicaid data sharing with immigration officials, and this happened in California, and 19 other states have filed a lawsuit against President Trump's administration, alleging it violated federal privacy laws by sharing sensitive Medicaid data with the Department of Homeland Security, that is DHS, well, to aid migrant deportation efforts. And California Attorney General Rob Bonta said the data transfer, which included names, addresses, social security numbers, and immigration statuses of non citizen Medicaid enrollees, breaches HIPAA and other federal privacy protections. And the data released targeted states like California, Illinois, and Washington that use state funds to offer Medicaid to non citizens. A leaked memo showed that officials within the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services, that is CMS, had warned the release would violate federal law, but their concerns were overruled by President Trump's appointed leaders at the Department of Health and Human Services, the HHS. And HHS defended the move, stating that it acted with legal bounds to prevent misuse of federal Medicaid funds. Meanwhile, dozens of Democratic lawmakers have demanded DHS to stop using the data and destroy any information already received. So this is also striking quite a debate, and it's a concerning matter to everyone out there, and that's the news I wanted to share, folks. So if you do want to stay updated on all these latest updates on U.S. immigration, do not forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Check us out on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Instagram. Stay connected with us and to not miss out on any of these updates, very important ones. Ring that bell icon so that you are always notified. And also, don't forget to like, share with your friends and folks who could also benefit as we update you with more of these latest news.
Absolutely. And I think, Napasa, with that, let's begin our session with a very first segment, about the topic Indian in the United States applying for a green card. Get ready for your adjustment and interview. So, friends, before diving into the topic, let me make you understand, what is AOS, that is Adjustment of Status, and who can qualify for that. So imagine that you are already in the US on a student visa or some other work visa. You have built your career and started your new life, and you are already ready to make it permanent. And that's where the AOS comes in, that is adjustment of status. So adjustment of status, let me simplify this in a very easy way. It is actually a process that lets people already who are living in the United States apply for a green card. Yes, it is for those people who are living in the United States, and there only they can apply for a green card. That means they don't have to leave the country or go to the US embassy abroad, which usually happen in different way. But in terms of adjustment of status, this is the best thing. Now, if we take it as an example, then let's say Priya, who came to the US from India on an F1 student visa. So after graduation, she got an H-1B job at tech company, and now her employer wants to sponsor her for a green card. So instead of flying back to India and applying through the US consulate, which takes even months and a lot of stress, she can simply adjust her status right here in the US. and without leaving her job, her apartment, or her country. That is the beauty of adjustment of status. The most important question: who can apply, and who are the eligible candidates for this? So, to qualify, friends, you need to meet two basic conditions. Number one, you must be physically present in the United States. Secondly, you must have entered the US legally. That's right, your background should also be clean, and you should be a legal citizen with a valid visa or through a program like the Visa Waiver Program. Next, let me also tell you that AOS is commonly used by F1 students, H1B workers, people who marry US citizens or green card holders. Also, asylees or refugees can also be a part of it. Now, most importantly, why Indians commonly use this? That's right, because for Indian nationals, AOS is one of the most common green card path, especially for those already in the US on H1B. Many Indians follow this journey. They come as F1 student, then move to job on H1B, and then apply for green card through employment or marriage. Through employment, maybe through EB2 or EB3 category, and marriage to getting married to a US citizen or permanent resident. But here's the catch: that due to visa backlog for India, employment based green cards can take years. And that too, talking about 2025, it's huge. Even decade or even more it can take. So while AOS makes the process easier from a location perspective, the waiting game is still real. So this is the whole meaning, and these are the pointers who can qualify, and how Indians are also looking forward to it. Now, with that, Nipasa, I'm a little curious about the timeline, about the new USCIS rule, right? And how is it like Indian specific delays? So, just a question in my mind. I think if you can clarify it, then that would be great.
Well, what to say, Sam? If you just look at this year, in 2025 alone, the adjustment of status timeline, the AOS timeline really depends on your situation. Every case is different, and it's going to depend on what sort of case it is. And especially for Indians who are applying through marriage to a US citizen, the average wait time is around 9 months. So that is just if you look at the marriage based green cards. And but for those married to green card holders, the wait can stretch to almost 3 years. So that is huge, right? And Indian applicants, often they face longer wait times, even if you talk about family or employment based categories. Both these uh, different categories and different visas, under the Fs and the Es, all of them, because of the per country caps. And this is very huge because the demand is more than the supply. So on top of that, USCIS has rolled out new form editions this year. This is another new update. So only the latest versions of Form I-485, and other key forms are accepted now. So you have to make sure whenever you're applying that you have the right form, the latest version, and you cannot miss out on that. Otherwise, your status is more on jeopardy because it's not going to be counted. And if your forms are outdated or mismatched, they might be rejected as well. And another new rule, by the way, is that USCIS no longer accepts combined payments. So every form must have its own separate check. And this also has to be kept in mind. Plus, you must clearly choose if you're doing adjustment of status or consular processing. And leaving it blank also, picking both also can delay your case. So you really need to be sure what you want, and whether it's adjustment of status, the consular processing, check it while you are filing the form. And it's very important than ever to double check everything before you send it in. And I think it's always best to consult with an immigration attorney who can guide you and direct you in the right direction with the right forms, the right fee, and everything. Double check. Everything should be right on point, because even if it's a little here and there, it's your status that's going to be well in jeopardy. And
Yeah.
whenever we talk about filing, we always think what happens during the green card interviews, right? And why it matters, that's another question that comes to our minds. So,
Mhm.
Sam, if you could tell us a little bit, please.
Sure, I would love to because that is the other very important part of our this session. And friends, stay tuned, stay connected. It's time to take a short break, so don't go anywhere. And Cynthia has joined us. So thank you, Cynthia, for being here. It's always a pleasure having you on the show. And friends, stay connected and keep watching Immigration Talk Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI support.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Immigration Talk Show. You're watching Daily Immigration Doors, and we have covered a very important topic in this webinar, that is Indian in the United States applying for a green card. Get ready for adjustment of status and interview. So, with that, I think let me go ahead with my very important segment, that is what happens in the green card interview and why it matters. So, friends, now you have submitted your green card application. That's great through adjustment of status, but that's not all. There's another very important part that you cannot afford to miss out. And that is for many applicants, the next is green card interview, and it is very important. So this is where USCIS officer is going to meet you in person to verify everything you have stated and your application is actually right or not. To make the final decision, they're going to have this interview. So who gets called for an interview? Mostly marriage based applicants are automatically required to attend an interview. This is a very standard part of the process to verify the relationship is real and not just for the immigration benefits. But even in employment based cases or other family based applications like parents of US citizens, USCIS may still request an interview if something is unclear in your document, and they need more proof of eligibility or anything that your case can triggers a red flag, maybe like a past visa violation or any inconsistency. Now, for example, let's say talking about marriage-based green card, then let's take an example of someone from India, Ravi, who's an Indian national who has married Sarah, a US citizen. Now, they filed for marriage-based green card using AOS. About 6 to 10 months later, Ravi receives an interview notice from USCIS. So he and Sarah both must attend the interview together, and this is where USCIS will test if their marriage is real or not. Now, most important question is, friends, that what does the officer is going to ask? So, firstly, your full name, birth date, and immigration history. Also, your employment, address, and any previous entries to the United States. So, these are the basic questions that are going to ask in the employment based interview. Now, in terms of marriage based, the questions will be little personal. And specifically 2025, it is more specific and very much direct to your partner. For example, how did you meet? When and where did you get married? Who proposed and how? And what was the first gift that your spouse gave to you? So these are some of the questions that are very personal, and I'll say only the partner should know. Sometimes, if they suspect fraud, then what they are going to do, they are going to separate and interview individually, and this is called Stokes interview, and your answers are going to be compared. So if the answers match and documents are in order, then things usually go smoothly. But if the answers conflict or the answers are different from each other, then the officer may delay or even deny the green card. So this is the whole thing about interview, and I'll just say, friends, be honest, and you should know that what is going to happen with you. And this time, if you're having proper documents and everything, then I think things will go smoothly. So with that, I think Nipasa, it is also very important because some of our viewers, they do mistakes without even realizing it. So talking about Indian applicants, what are some common mistakes that you would like to highlight on, and let our viewers know that they should avoid it?
Sure, Sam, I'll get to that for sure. But I was just going to remind folks out there that if you have not as yet subscribed to our channel, subscribe now. Our handle is at Immigration Talk Show. Check us out on YouTube. We are also on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram, on all social handles. So check us out, follow us, subscribe to us, and stay connected with us. And yes, it's a very, very important subject. I hope you're resonating. And if you have any questions, or maybe you want to share your story as well, feel free to comment wherever you're watching us. And Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us once again. I wish you could also join us on call. Why don't you dial this number 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. Join us. Well, and coming to the mistakes you were talking about, Sam, some of the most common mistakes, uh, and one of the most common mistakes that Indians make during adjustment of status, the process is by not understanding the 90-day rule, which is a very important rule to keep in mind. And if you enter the US on a visa that doesn't allow dual intent, like a tourist visa or a student visa, and apply for a green card within 90 days, USCIS might think you misled them about your plans. So you cannot do that. I mean, you should be very clear right from the very beginning whether you're going to go there for studies, just studies, or you're planning to stay longer, or you're going there to just be a tourist, or are you in love already, going there to visit someone and get married at the same time, or get engaged. So there's a lot in it, right? So you cannot give them any idea, or you cannot give them any hint that you have misled them. That is very important to do, and that shouldn't happen within the 90 days. So that is 3 months if you talk roughly. And getting your how to say, your green card within the 90 days, you can't you can't make them think that you have misled them for sure. And it could get your application denied. Just giving them that hint, they would deny you. And imagine a deny for a visa could also mean that you're going to be watched the next time you even try. So don't ever try to make that mistake ever. And another common issue is not gathering, enough proof of a real marriage. It's not enough to just have a marriage certificate. You'll also need joint bank accounts. That's very important. Shared bills, photos, travel history, or even letters from friends and family. So these are, especially in today's day and age, it's everything, is so digitized, and you are taking photos every day. So these are very important documents that are going to be checked as well. And if you talk about employment based adjustment of status, make sure that your employer is reliable and responds quickly to USCIS requests. Also, what you could do is watch out for simple filing errors, using the wrong form edition, which is what we were speaking earlier. Is very important to have the latest one. And also forgetting signatures maybe in some parts while filing the form, or submitting incomplete packages. You have to make sure that all fields are filled in, and with the correct details as well, so that you do not have all these mistakes. You should avoid these mistakes, I would say. And USCIS is really being very strict this year, much more than they were earlier as well. So a small mistake can cause big delays, especially for Indian applicants, who are already in longer wait times, whichever category you look at, right? The wait times are really long and seems like forever for some. So these are the things that you really need to keep in mind, especially during adjustment of status.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, I think Cynthia is also here. So, hi, Cynthia, and thank you so much for your comment. So, you are saying President Donald Trump on Tuesday toured a new immigration detention center surrounded by alligator filled swamps in Florida Everglades, suggesting it could be a model for future lockups. nationwide as his administration races to expand the infrastructure necessary for increasing deportations. Trump said he would like to see similar facilities in really many states and raised the prospects of also deporting U.S. citizens. He even endorsed having Florida National Guard forces possibly serve as immigration judges to ensure migrants are ejected from the country even faster. Well, that's a lot. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for putting up these very important pointers in a very simple way. And, of course, these are very informative things. So I'll just say thank you so much. And it feels so good that you're putting up all these comments in the comment section. And with that, Jay is also here. So hi, Jay. And I think, Nipasa, you can move ahead with Jay's comment.
Sure, Jay, thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube on Daily Immigration Dose. And he's saying, after my wife entered the US this January with her immigrant visa, it took USCIS about 2 months before the green card was mailed to her. Her social security card arrived before her green card did. CBP told us, after entering the US, that we might wait 3 to 6 months for the green card in the mail. So, given that, CBP said it just depends upon the circumstances of each case, although I can't imagine why it would take up to 6 months to get your card in the mail. Despite all the complaints that USCIS gets, I think given their workload, that they do a great job processing all the green cards for mail out. Well, Jay, what can I say? This is the process, the standard procedure, and everything has to be checked. And this is something that CBP has told you. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us as well. Good to know, so that folks out there, who are exploring this same sort of adjustment of status, they can also be prepared for. I mean, it could take 6 months, and just like it did for Jay. So thank you, Jay, once again.
That's right. And with that, I think, friends, we have covered a lot in this session. We have talked about what is adjustment of status, also who can apply for it, what are the steps to take an interview, what documents you have to look for, and most importantly, the common mistakes. So, in case if you're having any queries or any questions regarding our today's topic, then please go ahead and put them on the comment section. With that, if you also want us to have a different topic for tomorrow's DID, or any other topic for to have a discussion with immigration attorney, then you can also email me on my email address, that is sam@staffingly.com. You can also email Nipasa on her email address, that is nipa@staffingly.com. And with that, friends, I think that's all for today's episode. It was lovely having you all, and it was great to have all these discussions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Our handle is @Immigration Talk Show. We're not just here on YouTube, but also available on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and on Instagram as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. See you tomorrow. Till then, goodbye and take care.
You know why I'm vacationing in Dubai right now? Because I stopped drowning in RFEs, intake calls, and late night filings. I used to hire freelancers who barely knew what a G28 was. Total chaos. Then I found IMI Support, virtual immigration paralegals trained in real case prep, docket-wise, and USCIS workflows. Now my calendar's clean, my clients are happy, and my firm runs while I relax. You can hustle or you can outsource smart. I chose freedom. I chose IMI Support.